This segment is sponsored by Carr Carr Attorneys at Law. It's time that you know the law when it comes to personal injury, Social Security, disability, and workers' comp. Joining us now is attorney Michael Carr with Carr Carr Attorneys at Law. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, with everything going on with the coronavirus pandemic, there's some legal questions to tackle. So first, what is business interruption insurance coverage?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Business interruption insurance coverage is something that probably a lot of business owners are wondering about, looking into. And what business interruption insurance coverage is something that's usually included in a business owner's commercial property insurance coverage. And what business interruption insurance coverage is if something happens to your property that results in a loss of income for your business, your insurance carrier through that policy may afford you benefits for the loss of income that you've sustained. So that, in a nutshell, is what business interruption insurance coverage is. What's important to know, though, is that generally speaking, business interruption insurance coverage only comes into play when there's been some sort of physical disruption to your business, usually to your property. So a good example would be if, say, a tornado comes in and blows your building away while your business the physical structure has been destroyed, and so there's a loss of income, and so then your insurance carrier can provide you for benefits. What's different about the coronavirus is that it doesn't necessarily cause physical damage to the building. So there's going to be some friction, some disputes about whether the coronavirus actually causes a physical damage to a building.
I'm so glad you're here to break all this down for us. So if we have a business interruption insurance coverage, can you receive benefits from the loss of business that you've sustained from coronavirus?
You know, and that's really, it's up in the air right now.
Okay.
Different courts have looked at it differently. Some courts take a really strict view and say, well, you know, the coronavirus hasn't actually caused a physical destruction of your property, of your business, so we're not going to afford you any benefits. Other courts have said, well, while a virus has not necessarily caused a physical disruption to your property, it's gotten into your building. Maybe someone has brought it into your building or could bring it into your building, the virus, which could cause a disruption. So even though the virus isn't blowing your building down, on a microscopic level, it's causing great disruption. So to answer your question, it's really up in the air. Courts have looked at it differently. It's going to be fleshed out across the country.
Are there any possible exclusions to this kind of coverage?
Yeah, that's another thing. So business owners watching will probably want to look at their policy, because sometimes this kind of coverage will have exclusions for things like pollution or contamination. And so then the question is does is the coronavirus some sort of contaminant? Is it some sort of not necessarily a pollution, but is it some sort of a contaminant? And that's going to be something that's going to have to be hashed out in the courts, because when these policies were generated, when they were created, I think a lot of insurance companies weren't thinking about something like the coronavirus disrupting businesses across the country. So it's a novel thing. It's a new thing, and it's going to unfortunately lead to I think a lot of litigation and disputes with insurance companies, because I think insurance companies are going to probably try to find ways maybe not to pay, and business owners are looking for ways for them to pay. And so there's going to be some disruption along the way.
Yeah, people with a lot of questions right now. Thank you for answering a lot of them this morning. It's so nice to know that you can turn to Carr Carr Attorneys for help with personal injury, Social Security, disability, workers' comp too. Give them a call, 405-691-1600, or you can find them online at carcarr.com.